everybody doing? This is the Quad City Gamer back at you again with another one. And this is the Quad City Entertainment Universe. Today we're going to be talking about Spider-Man. Of course, we can't stop talking about Spider-Man. Now, I touched on this. This is the third video now about Spider-Man. The first video was just a timeline running over exactly all the things that have been released and the information that we do have, dates and things that have happened with Crystal Dynamics, and as to why the current condition of the game seems to be very touch and go when it comes to the bugs and the gear system and the upgrading and all the little things that we've been getting with Marvel's Avengers and the DLC and the lack of content, I guess lack of endgame content that many feel that we have now. As I said before, we do have to give Crystal Dynamics a break in a lot of ways. Number one, of course, we all know about the gender reveal, which caused the wildfire, which burned down their studio. If you don't know about that, relate to my previous video and you will understand what I mean when I talk about the gender reveal party. Second, COVID. We're living in a worldwide pandemic, and I know these things get played out, saying the same thing over and over again. It gets played out, but this is the truth. We're living in a worldwide pandemic. Now, don't forget that people were dying of COVID, and now it's affecting our children. I have 4 kids myself, and I actually had COVID, and I got vaccinated. I got COVID after I got vaccinated. So, let's continue on. All right? Now, when we're talking about Spider-Man, one of the things that we need to understand is the way that Marvel's Avengers and Marvel in general release things. They like to have your attention solely on what they're releasing. They don't like to have things overshadowed. Okay, that's a point that I made in a previous video, is that concerning Spider-Man, yes, we should have had him a long time ago. Yes, there are many bugs in the game. And I do feel that people, when something else happens in Marvel's Avengers, we tend to remember all the previous things that happened in Marvel's Avengers and really come down hard on Crystal Dynamics. But like I said, we need to kind of back off. Don't be super angry about things. You have to remember this. If you want the game to succeed, they need to make money. Now, there are very valid arguments that many people have against Crystal Dynamics in the way that they've handled certain things. They are valid things to be angry about. Like I said, that nerfing the Tachyon Surge gear is one. The fact that there's lots of game-breaking bugs. The fact that when you go to select your character, there is, your stats are not right. You're getting one-shotted, or you're not doing the right amount of damage. Those things are definite concerns, and they should be addressed. And Crystal Dynamics, they do have, a subreddit, obviously r/Avengers on Reddit. If you don't know about that, please visit that. The community is very good there. Everybody talks about a lot of different topics and a lot of different bugs. So if you have issues, please go there. And then we have their Twitter. Obviously, Crystal Dynamics has their own website. And, it seems like they do try, for the most part, to address certain things. Now, we're not going to get into that because that is actually a topic I have for another video about the consumables. Now, everybody knows how I feel about the consumables. I don't need to get into that. But just for a short context, I do not have a problem with them monetizing consumables. They need to make money in the game, and I also do not feel like they lied about, pay-to-win scenarios, because it's not pay-to-win. So we're going to leave that for another time. But let's jump on the topic of today, which is Spider-Man. Now, let's start with the suits. As you know, Crystal Dynamics, they like to release MCU suits for each character. We have, I wouldn't say all, but most of the endgame suits that, for our Avengers. Obviously Thor, it took a long time to get Thor's suit. And, but I feel that one of the first suits that they're going to release for Spider-Man for sure is the Stark tech suit. The one that he had in Civil War and the one that he was wearing in Homecoming. So, that I really do feel like that is the first MCU suit that we're going to get. Now, because Spider-Man No Way Home is being released on December 17th, there is a concern that Spider-Man could be moved. A lot of people are speculating that, and me myself, I'm speculating that we could get Spider-Man next month, in the month of November, which is days away. I'm recording this on Halloween, so it is October 31st, and a lot of people are speculating that we're going to get him in November, which would make sense. And honestly, in my opinion, I think that it's the best option for them is to release Spider-Man in November. Personally, as things are rolling out, I don't feel like they're going to release him at the same time as the Claw Raid, although that would be the best option for Crystal Dynamics at the moment, considering all the things they have going against them. Now, obviously, I'm not being hypocritical. I did say that I don't agree with a lot of the rhetoric and a lot of the opinions that people have toward Crystal Dynamics, a lot of the, anger that people have, but I do understand that as far as their public image is concerned, that it is concerning if they do release Spider-Man at the end of the year, because of the backlash of them having Spider-Man exclusively for PlayStation. Even though, like I said, I feel like there really shouldn't be that much backlash. Everybody knows that Spider-Man is exclusively for PlayStation. He has been exclusive since 2018's release of Marvel Spider-Man, so this is nothing new. And the fact that people would be extremely angry about this really doesn't make too much sense. But I do understand, as far as if you're an Xbox player or a PC player, that, it does suck. It sucks that Spider-Man, you're basically going to see two different versions of the same game, and that Spider-Man's going to be on one platform and he's not going to be on the other platform. I do feel like, if they release the Claw Raid and Spider-Man at the same time, it really would make things a lot easier for them. Just because, I know they don't want to overshadow Spider-Man with the Claw Raid, but at the same time, if I was Crystal Dynamics, I'd want to release Spider-Man, get the PlayStation players back, because obviously he is exclusive for PlayStation, get them invested in the game, release the Claw Raid at the same time, so that way Xbox and PC have something to do and they don't feel left out, and then move on from it. Get the players back, come out with the DLC with what you have, and then move on, because you don't want this to last a long time, especially because, like I said, their public image right now isn't the best. The release of the game wasn't the greatest, and people have come down very hard on Crystal Dynamics, and the developers especially, and even the people that they do these the live YouTube weekly blogs, or they don't really do that anymore, but the dev stream is what I'm referring to. People have come down really hard on these people, and we need to understand that they are not the ultimate. They don't have the ultimate say when it comes to Marvel's Avengers. They are employees of Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix and whatever subsidiary companies that they have, sister companies, and they do not have a say in actually what is the final decision as to what is going to go in the game and what comes out of the game. Now, saying that, yes, they've made a lot of mistakes as far as things that they've taken out. Now, again, we've got some word that they're going to actually let us do the OLT 9 times a week. And I'm saying 9 times a week because there's 9 characters, and you'll be able to do it once a week per character, which is something they should have had in the game a long time ago. Like I said, they've made a lot of bad decisions that haven't made sense, and that's not the developers' fault. I really feel like they've done a really great job on the combat, and that's why people are still playing the game today. The game has something that not many other games have, and as far as any other Marvel games, the only other Marvel game that really can compare to it, which is sad to say, is Marvel Future Revolution, and then we have the Ultimate Alliance games. But as far as a game with this quality, this game kind of stands out on its own. So it's a very, very sad situation that we're in. But it seems like the game by next year this time will be in a completely different state. So like I was saying, the suits. What suit would you guys like to have? Obviously, on the screen, I'm pointing out pictures of different suits that could possibly be in the game. Obviously, the Iron Spider suit from the MCU. That's a good one. And then the people are obviously, these are pictures from the Spider-Man PS4 game, where we're going to make comparisons to the Spider-Man PS4 game. That is just a given. No matter what you do with this game, when Spider-Man is released, you're going to compare it to the Spider-Man PS4 game, because that's the only other game that we have of Spider-Man that is a really good representation of what a Spider-Man game should be. Now, I know a lot of people give the Amazing Spider-Man games a hassle. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the first one, but the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game actually wasn't a bad game. I actually do like that game quite a bit, and before Spider-Man PS4 came out, that was pretty much the definitive Spider-Man game. That one, and then obviously Spider-Man 2 game that came out on, I believe, PlayStation 2. So those two games obviously were the best and the pinnacle of Spider-Man games, and then Spider-Man PS4 came out. So now we're going to have Spider-Man for Marvel's Avengers. So, as you can see, I would love for them to do a comic-accurate suit, a comic-accurate representation of the Iron Spider suit, just like, you know, the Marvel Spider-Man PS4 Insomniac Studios did. That would be awesome. Will they do that? I don't know. Obviously, we all know they're going to have recolors of Spider-Man. But you know what? As they did with Black Panther, they tend to be very, very selective on what type of suits and what type of skins that they recolor. And I feel that they're going to use the same type of discretion when it comes to Spider-Man. So, let's keep moving on. Now, as far as the, you know, the gear system goes, in my opinion, I think we all kind of can kind of agree on this. Basically, the gear system goes in, you know, 4 different pieces of gear. You have your melee gear, your ranged gear, your chest piece, and then your head piece. So, as far as the melee gear goes, obviously that would be his gloves, you know, or his gauntlets or whatever. Pretty much his gloves. He doesn't really wear gauntlets, but it would be his gloves. And then his melee gear would obviously be his web shooters. It would be like a picture of his web shooters. His chest gear would either be obviously just a picture of Spider-Man's actual chest costume area, or it would be a chest costume area along with the spider emblem, which would tend, you know, probably be more mechanical in nature. We'll see exactly how they go about doing that. Obviously, whatever they do is going to be awesome. I'm very confident in the way that they're going to handle Spider-Man's combat. And as far as the gear is, this is something that is up for debate as to what they're going to do about Spider-Man. Now, as far as his headgear, obviously it's just going to be a picture of his mask probably, or his face, or possibly maybe just his eyes. Just a little picture, a little small, little square picture of his eyes, and it'll change from there. So, we can kind of guess and see how he's going to operate. Obviously, we know that his ranged ability is going to be webs, and I you know, as you can see, you know, Spider-Man does have, you know, in the Insomniac game, he is able to shoot, you know, shock charged webbing, so that's not anything out of the norm. So I would assume that, you know, whatever it is they're going to do with Spider-Man as far as his ranged ability is going to be very similar to what they did with Black Panther, where whatever, you know, and everyone else in the game, or whatever status that he has, it's going to basically change the color of his web. You know, is that okay with everyone? I don't know, but that's pretty much, you know, the area that they're gonna have to work with. His melee combat, like I said, I think it's going to work pretty much the same way as Black Panther does, where the majority of his combos are just, you know, a regular combo at the very end of the finisher, or maybe even a power attack that he does. If he has an uppercut of some sort like he does in Insomniac, it would be infused with whatever status. Obviously, Spider-Man's not going to have all the statuses that we have, because not all heroes have all the statuses. For example, Thor doesn't have any plasma gear. But what's crazy is that I can get a plasma potentiator. I actually have pieces of gear for Thor that have plasma potentiators. So, let's keep moving on down the list here. And as far as what they're going to do with his story. Now, the story is not going to have any impact on the main story, and we all know that because he's a PlayStation exclusive. And I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that at all. So it's basically going to be indifferent to where he can either be there or not. Now, one of the questions that a lot of people have is Spider-Man going to have an expansion? Like, if he's when he comes out, is he going to have like a couple of different or extra areas in the Eastern Seaboard? What time period is this going to take place? Obviously, you guys know how I feel. I feel like it's going to be the Insomniac Spider-Man, the same version. And, I don't really feel like it's just going to be an homage. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on when we're talking about Spider-Man. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy is out now, and we did see advertisements as far as nameplates for the Guardians of the Galaxy. And there are Easter eggs in Guardians of the Galaxy referencing other heroes. Not specifically the heroes in Marvel's Avengers, but they do reference other heroes. Now, what I was thinking is that, do you feel like it's a missed opportunity for them? If Spider-Man does come out and it turns out that he's not the same Spider-Man from Insomniac, which is very possible that he could not be. These obviously could just be Easter eggs, referring to the last iteration of Spider-Man that we know of. But don't you guys feel like this is a missed opportunity for them to have a Marvel Cinematic gaming universe? I mean, Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics and Insomniac, I really feel like if they could do something and pull off what Sony and Marvel are doing in the movie business, in the movie area of Marvel, and actually work together to make a cohesive and great Marvel game. And I really feel like if those companies did come together and work at it, that they could make an incredible next iteration of Marvel's Avengers. You guys let me know what you think about a Marvel gaming universe. Now, this is just a dream of mine. Obviously, I do believe that it is going to be the Insomniac Spider-Man, but I really feel like it's a missed opportunity with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe they just don't want certain characters to be the definitive character models for certain things, just in case they have some other plans in the future. Now for Marvel Spider-Man, we all have to know this too. On a whole nother note, Spider-Man No Way Home obviously is coming out December 17th, and the Hawkeye series is coming out on November 24th. Now everybody's expecting Spider-Man. I really feel like the way that they're handling this, like I said earlier, that they want to have their Guardians of the Galaxy time, and the game just came out recently, and they want to have enough time with that. But there are quite a few things left on the roadmap. And as I said before in a previous video, they would really have to be putting things out, on a weekly basis to kind of get through these things smooth. Are they going to release things the last week of December? I don't believe they're going to. Could Spider-Man possibly move to December? Yes, I do believe that he could possibly move to December, only because of the fact that the movie comes out December 17th. Is he going to be delayed and not come out this year? No, he's coming out this year. For sure he's coming out this year. But the Hawkeye and the Spider-Man No Way Home movie will be running at the same time. And Hawkeye's nameplate challenge is going to be running in tandem and at the same time as his as his show on Disney Plus. So as the Hawkeye Disney Plus show ends December 22nd, which is about 3 days before Christmas. Like I said, I do believe that Crystal Dynamics will not be working the last week of December. So we basically have, 2 months, a little less than 2 months for them to release everything that's left on the roadmap. Let me know, guys, what you think. You think they're going to release everything on the roadmap? I mean, personally, I believe that, like I said, if they released because we're going through the events right now with the the Cosmic Threat event and the Nexus Attack Anomaly, and then after that is going to be the Red Room Takeover and then the Corrupted Vibranium. I do believe that if they're not going to cut something short and maybe skip a few of those events, that those events will be running at the same time and running until the end of the year, that we will not actually run through those events first and then start on the other things in the roadmap. That those events will be running at the same time as other things that are going to be released on the roadmap. And obviously they will be releasing probably more MCU suits until the end of the year. How much money do you think Crystal Dynamics is making off these suits? What do you guys think about, how they're handling the roadmap? Obviously the roadmap, it shows things coming out before other things, but it does seem that some things should be up for deliberation as to when they're going to release them. Are they going to do everything on the roadmap? I do feel that they can, but like I said, if they released one threat sector a week, that would be 4 weeks. And obviously that's not what they're doing, because the Cosmic Threat event doesn't end until the 4th of November. and that's more, obviously that lasted more than a week. So which means the next event will be Tachyon Anomaly, and the next thing to happen is the gear upgrading. Is not the gear upgrading, I'm sorry, the power level cap increase. That is the next thing to happen. Now, how do you guys think they're going to handle the power level cap increase? Do you think that it's going to be just, they're going to give us some extra ISOs and actually have legendary ISOs to where we can, upgrade these? Because right now the ISOs only go up to epic. So if they do put legendary ISOs, then that could explain how you can get your power level up to 170 or 175, or 170, I would think. And that is the notion is that the power level cap is going to stop at about 170 to 175. And they said that they weren't going to release and revamp the gear system and all these little tweaks that they're doing to the game all at once, which is exactly what they're doing. They're doing it in little spurts here and there. Now, I am excited for Spider-Man. I'm very, very interested to see what they're going to do, what the storyline is. Obviously, it's not going to have any impact on the game when this is taking place, because if this is the same Spider-Man from Insomniac, when would this be taking place? Because obviously, if you've played that game and you meet up with Taskmaster in the game, he does explain how he's fought the Avengers before. So is the Insomniac Spider-Man game take place after or before or in between somewhere? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I am so excited for Spider-Man and the future of this game, and be on the lookout for my next video about the consumables, because it's definitely going to get some people's eyebrows raised about what I think about the consumables and exactly what I think about how people are handling this whole situation about the consumable issue. And I really don't feel like it's much of an issue at all, and I don't feel like Crystal Dynamics owes us an apology for the consumables, only because of the fact that they have to fund the game somehow. I've made several other references to other games, and even Spider-Man PS4, those DLCs weren't free, and this is a AAA game, and they have to make money. If we want the game to succeed, they have to make money, and they do make good money off of, these skins. They're $14 US. So if you're not in the US, obviously if you're in Europe, you're not paying in US dollars, but that's how much it is over here. They're $14 US. So obviously you do the exchange rate. Obviously the euro is worth more than the US dollar, so it would probably be a little more in Europe. I don't know exactly how much it would be, but let me know what you guys think. Spider-Man is definitely coming. I know for a fact he's coming this year, and I am so excited for Marvel's Avengers and to see what they do, and I really hope that this game lasts. And that's all I got for right now. Please be on the lookout for my video about the consumables. That's going to be a banger. And please, as you guys can, please support this this channel and give me a like and a subscribe. And thank you for clicking on the channel. This is the Quad City Gamer. I'm signing out. Thank you very much.